One of the most basic seems to be the way in which the system has failed to offer the right sort of redress to victims, in particular victims who are vulnerable. I'm thinking of victims of sex crimes, abuse crimes. It doesn't seem to be a system that works for those people.
No, I think this is a real cause for concern, and the conclusion I reached after 5 years as DPP is that the more vulnerable you are as a victim, the less able the criminal justice system is to protect you. And that's a very significant
That's a shocking indictment
to reach. Yes, I think...
And is that as true today as it was when you took over 5 years ago? i.e., what did you do about it?
I think that progress was made in the 5 years, certainly on issues such as child sexual abuse. I made it clear that there needed to be a radical change of position. I then worked hard with a number of individuals and groups, including the police, to change the approach that prosecutors and police took. But this is
to be clear,
the beginning...
hang on, to be clear, because I think this is so important. You are saying that on your watch, the system let down the most vulnerable victims of terrible crimes.
Well, I think the problem is that our system essentially was created and developed over the last 200 years as a straight fight between the state, the prosecutor, and the defence. And nobody thought about the rights of victims until very recently, and I'm talking about the last 20 years. Since then, we've had a number of bolt-ons for victims, but from a victim perspective, I concluded that the system is not fit for purpose for victims. Now, I recognise that's a very serious conclusion to reach, but it's the one I have reached. And I say it because in the first place, many victims, and I'm talking about vulnerable victims, particularly of domestic violence, sexual violence, simply don't come forward. And they don't come forward because they don't think the criminal justice system is capable of assisting them. And if they do come forward, they generally say they'd never do it again. I don't think anybody could
I've seen quotes from women as recently as just a couple of years ago saying they felt crucified by the system, and they felt they got absolutely no support from the Crown Prosecution Service.
I think this is a very serious conclusion. I don't think it's necessarily about individuals. It's the way that the whole system is set up. And the more I dug down, the more I came to the view that our system is built on assumptions about the way that victims will behave. And actually those assumptions don't withstand scrutiny.